All right, here we go again for another big Saturday. Papa Dude tonight joining us for the Dudes Who Bet Daily show. We got a jam-packed show today, Papa Dude. We're going to get right into it. We got 3 football games we're going to talk about. We've got 2 races we're going to talk about. And then we've got the best bets. And one of those best bets, yours, involves the biggest game of the night. So we're saving that one for last. Let's kick it off, though. UCLA at Utah to kick us off here on the show. Utah -6 in this game. Total 52.5. It's kind of went down. This was 6.5 when we previewed it on Thursday. What do you think of UCLA, Utah?
Well, I'll tell you something, Aaron. Unless it was a misprint this morning, when I got up, which was pretty early, because I wanted to get a lot of stuff done because, we have the show early today, it was 3.5. And I was wondering, what the heck was this going on? What was going on? But anyway, now it's back to where I think it needs to be, is 6. I'm wondering maybe if they've announced now that for sure that Rising's going to play. Maybe that's come out in the last couple hours, maybe.
It is still uncertain who is going to play. There are sources saying that Rising may not play today.
Well, I'm wondering if the rumors now have gone the other way, and maybe that's why that line just went back
From
up.
what we're seeing right now, and this is as early as 2 hours ago, Pete Thamel on Twitter said he's thinking Cam Rising is uncertain, and that's why the line is moved where it has.
Well, you know what? I think we should stay away from this game.
That's what I'm thinking about. I think if you can bet in game. Obviously, this is not breaking news. You can bet in game. I think this is an in game bet. I don't think this is a bet you want to make until you see what the situation actually is going to be.
He makes a huge difference because this UCLA team's pretty good. I don't think they're going to win. No matter who the quarterback is at Utah, I think the other kids played enough to where he'll be all right. And they're so tough out there. It's a good thing this game's at home and not at UCLA. I'm wondering if Rising's hurt a little bit more than what they've led on over the course.
I think for sure that's the case. Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm staying away from this because I'm just not sure what the situation is.
The other thing about it is UCLA, they look better all around. They may be a little better than they've been. And I think that's another key. Those UCLA teams the last couple of years, probably you go out to Utah, you're going to get beat. I'm not sure. I mean, they look a little bit better. They've played some quality opponents, and they've looked good against them. So I think UCLA can go out there and beat Utah today if Utah struggles offensively. So you just kind of got to monitor the quarterback situation.
We really do.
Another quarterback situation is Alabama, and that's been highly publicized. They're going back to Milroe today. They're a 6.5-point favorite at home against Ole Miss. Alabama, I mean, they've had games against Ole Miss here recently where it looked like Ole Miss might be able to beat them. It hasn't happened. Is today the day Ole Miss beats Alabama?
This is a game. How much guts you got? How much guts do you have?
Yep.
Your eyes tell you that they're not very good. Yep. Alabama's not very good, but I'm having a hard time. I was talking to my brother, your uncle, about it, and I just can't. I got to see another horrible performance by Alabama before I get totally off the bandwagon. That and the fact that Kiffin has not stood up well when they went against Saban. Yep. It's just I can't get on the Mississippi bandwagon until they prove it. I would take Mississippi in the points because I think if Alabama wins this game, I think 20-17 might be the score, something like that. Because I just don't know. I've got to see this game before I start forming a true opinion on both of these teams.
Yes, I agree. But I'm not agreeing with your pick. I'm going to go Ole Miss. I think today's the day. I've seen enough of Alabama to think.
Yeah, it's a solid pick. It's the wise pick. It really is.
It seems to be that, hey, if you've watched through the first 3 weeks, this is the pick. Whether it comes in or not, we'll see. I get it. Year after year, they've dominated it.
You got the guts, and I don't.
I just think Ole Miss is a better team, and I never thought I would say that. But
I know, but it sure looks it at this point.
It does at this point. Now, maybe Alabama really turns it around, plays a great game. We come out of this going, well, they made some strides, but gosh, as of right now, I just don't see it. And again, I think quarterback is one problem for sure. I think there's other problems on that team. And
I do too.
Yeah. That's why I'm
the quarterback's the key, but he's got to have players around him. The offensive line has got to start playing better. When you can't throw the ball, you're going to have to be able to run it somewhat, and they can't do it.
Yep. It's been bad. It's been really bad. So,
yep.
All right, let's get going here. Oregon State and Washington State. I threw this one up on here because we're going to talk about the big game as your best bet. Oregon State, a 3-point favorite at home, Oregon State, a 3-point favorite on the road this weekend here at Washington State. Total 57.5. Listen, Washington State beat Wisconsin. They're at Washington State. Can they do it again? Can they beat Oregon State?
They have the best win between the teams.
Yep.
I'm not sold on Oregon State. They did not play very well against San Diego State last week, and San Diego State is not real good, not as good as they have been. I don't like Oregon State's quarterback till he shows me he can do it. I'm going Washington State all the way in this one.
I'm going Washington State as well for that reason. I just don't know that Oregon State's going to have enough offense to go up to Pullman today and win. So give me Washington State in that game as well. All right, let's transition into horse racing. By the way, Shoddy and Pedlo, see the comments. I'm going to address that at the end of the show. We'll talk about Oklahoma and Oklahoma Derby. However, let's go to Pennsylvania where it's raining, but they're still running today at Parks. Pennsylvania Derby is where we'll go to first here. Large field, I think nobody's going to be shocked when Saudi Crown is actually the favorite of this race and not Reincarnate.
Exactly.
But, Papa Dude, are you going Saudi Crown? Are you going somewhere else? Who do you like today in the Pennsylvania Derby?
Well, if you'll remember back in the Jim Dandy, I think it was.
Yep.
When we talked about Saudi Crown. And I've said I got to see Saudi Crown prove it in a big race. Mm-hmm. And Saudi Crown almost won the Jim Dandy. Lost right at the end. That was the proof that I needed. I think the horse gets to the front and wins today. I just think he gets there today. So I'm going Saudi Crown all the way. I don't like Reincarnate. I think that horse is way overrated. And I think if anybody but Baffert was training it, we wouldn't even be talking about it. I kind of like the 5, Scotland, a little bit in this one as well. But no, I'm all over Saudi Crown today. I'll be surprised if the horse doesn't win.
Well, usually when it's wet at Parks, and it's going to be wet, it's really raining hard there right now. When that track is sloppy, speed is what you want. And to me, this is the horse that's the fastest early. I think he catches a track that's got a lot of bias to it. I think he gets up to the front. I just don't think they're going to catch him. I don't think Forte's behind him today. I think, there's some horses that are decent behind him, but nobody with that kind of caliber. So I think Saudi Crown goes gate to wire as well. I'm with you. I'm going to try to beat Reincarnate for second and third. Going to try to get some prices involved. I did like the number 4 Magic Tap. I thought about putting this horse on top. Has ran really well since stretching out to 2 turns. Broke the maiden, got beat by a head by Tappett's Conquest, and then beat Film Star last time out at Saratoga. Film Star's come back to win twice. So I do think Magic Tap's an interesting one here. I'm not going to be shocked at all if he wins. So the 4 Magic Taps who I've got in second. Did you think about him at all?
Yes, I did. I left him out of my discussion there. Exactly. He was one of them too. I like the 4 and the 5, perhaps, to beat. I just think Saudi Crown's going to get to the front, and they're not going to be able to catch the horse.
That's my play. Yeah, absolutely. I think we're in total agreement on this one.
Yeah. By the way, I see in the chat, Christopher's got a 2-year-old soccer practice. Christopher, have you lost your mind? What do you think they're doing out there playing bubbles? You think you're really going to have a soccer player at 2 years old? Oh, boy. All right. Fun.
Well, you got to start them young, right? And
No, you don't. So
2-year-olds, that's new to me. A 2-year-old soccer practice.
I've known some 2-year-olds that have a hard time standing up for very long. Walking very far, let alone
4
running.
or 5-year-olds I have heard of. 2-year-old, that's pretty young.
Yeah, that's starting them out pretty young. Can they really swing their leg and kick the ball? I don't know. Yeah, anytime. Okay. He says he thinks he's going to have a tired kid before him. Okay. here's my rule on sports. If your kid is still having to take a nap, they're too young to be playing sports. How about that?
That might not be bad. Yeah, that might not be a bad way to look.
That's funny stuff.
All right, let's go. Let's go on here. Let's go to the Cotillion. I said we're doing 2 races today. Right. The Cotillion is next up on the docket here. I thought this one is pretty mischievous, the 2-1 favorite. I'm going to try to beat her. What are you going to do in this race?
Well, you know how I feel about Pretty Mischievous. That's one of my favorite horses.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I knew you were races
to say she's going to win.
Yeah, you picked 2 races today that were the easiest ones I've had to pick all year. So didn't spend a whole lot of time. I do like the 2 an awful lot in this one. It's aggressive to call what I'm watching a sport. Well, okay, you're proving my point, Christopher. If they don't know what they're doing, what in the hell do you have them out there for?
It doesn't sound like a fun way to spend a Saturday morning.
Oh, I could think of 50 million things I'd rather do than watch my kid pop bubbles at soccer practice. Come on. Anyway, I like Pretty Mischievous for just one reason, and that is the horse has won 3 grade 1s, and Ceiling Crusher hasn't yet. Mm-hmm. And that's why I would go with Pretty Mischievous, just because the horse is proven more than the other one. But the other one is running fantastic.
Yep.
And if that would be a great choice at 5-1 to try to win this race.
The debate rages on soccer, but we talk about this race. Listen, I think Ceiling Crusher is the same type of play for me as Saudi Crown was in the last race we talked about. I think Ceiling Crusher gets to the front. I think if we've got a sloppy track today, I think Ceiling Crusher, I just think he takes some gate to wire, or she takes some gate to wire today. You look at the races where this horse has got to the lead, it's been see you later. And I think when you look at this field, there's some other speed in here that's not that bad, but I think Ceiling Crusher is far and away the fastest of the bunch. So I think she's going to get out in front and get the job done. So again, I'm playing a lot of these 2 picks right now at Parks on the fact that I do watch Parks day in and day out. And when the track is sloppy, you got to be towards the front. And now they've got a ton of rain today, more than normal. Maybe you watch the first 3 or 4 races, and if what I just said is not what's happening, then maybe you adjust. But I can tell you, as somebody that does watch this track every day, sloppy track at Parks, you got to be near the front or you're in big trouble. So I really think Ceiling Crusher and Saudi Crown are the 2 horses to beat in these 2 races we just talked about. Anybody else you want to talk about, or do you want to move on?
I wonder, maybe you think they might cancel that card today? Probably not, because it's a big day. Yeah,
no chance.
I'd say a lot.
I shouldn't say no chance, but as of right now, not only are they not canceled, they have 2 turf races. They're on the turf as of right now. Now, could that change? Yeah, for sure. But as of right now, Parks is on the turf. So again,
I'm just wondering.
I'll believe it when I see it, but
there's a lot of well, not a lot. There's a couple of tracks they mentioned in the chat that have closed today on the East Coast.
So as of right now, if you're looking for closed tracks, Belmont at the Big A is closed. We have Pimlico that is closed, and then the Meadowlands also has closed. So
there's a hurricane going up the coast, right?
Yes, a lot of rain there.
Yeah,
a normal day at Parks, I would say they'd be thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. I want 40 mile per. Yeah, I'm wondering if some of these college football games on the East Coast might be canceled today as well.
I don't know. We'll have to monitor that. A couple baseball games have been canceled already. Delaware, has Delaware canceled their card? Yes, Delaware has now canceled their card as well. So, a lot of tracks not running, and that's understandable. It's hurricane.
Oh, yeah. There wouldn't be anybody there anyway. I mean, you wouldn't have any kind of a crowd or anything. Not that really matters, but there's no reason to anymore. There's no reason to do it.
No, none at all. And give Remington all the handle. You know what? I really wish Remington was running during the day today as well, because I do think they'd get a lot of play today.
Oh yeah.
Because there's just not a lot of options.
That's right.
I believe Parks will be running though. There's no indication at all that they're not. And like I said, some of the other tracks, 4 of them that we listed, have already announced that they're canceled.
I think when you have a big day like that, you've got to try to run it if it's possible,
Yeah, and I think that's what they're trying to do. It is their one day where a lot of the mainstream players come to play at parks. Our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday crowds, we're there and we're playing them, but the big handle is today. So we'll see. There's not a ton of scratches on that card either. I expected a lot. I mean, there's a few, but not an overly amount of scratches. So, like I said, I can only say from what I've been told and what, that they're running. So, now you run a couple of races, track's a freaking mess. Maybe they cancel that thing. But as of right now, they seem to be running. So we'll kind of just monitor the situation. By the way, first post is 20 minutes away at parks.
They're not going to cancel yet. I mean, it might get so bad where they have to. Would be the thing. Yeah.
But first post 20 minutes away. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see if they do indeed run all 14 races. All right, let's get to the best bets here. We'll go with Magic first. He went Toronto, Tampa over 7.5 last night. It cashed. Today he's going back. Toronto, Tampa under 8. So he's going to play the under today after playing the over yesterday. We'll see if he can make it 2 in a row. 2 pretty solid pitchers on the mound. I kind of looked this one over when he sent it. I think it makes sense. It barely went over yesterday, so I think maybe he's thinking, well, let's not push our luck. Let's play the under today. Any thoughts on that one?
No, I don't like over-unders in baseball. I think I miss them every time. So I like
kind of found a niche. He's good at it.
He's good at it. Like if I see a 11.5 or 11. I like to play the under in those sometimes because that's a lot of runs. This is kind of in the middle. He's got an angle though, and I trust him, so got to go with him.
Yeah. I mean, he's done a pretty good job over the last really 3 months of doing these. So we'll see what happens. All right, we'll go to Gulfstream Park for my best bet today. I was really dumb. I should have went there yesterday. I was debating between one at Gulfstream and then one at Remington. Remington horse ran well, but got second. The Gulfstream horse I was wanting to play won. So going today, Gulfstream Park, race 6 on the card. I'm going to go number 7, big and classy in this spot. I think he is just kind of the class of this field, always shows up with a great effort. Did lose last time out, but that was going 1 mile. Lost 3 races back, but that was 6 furlongs in a grade 3 race there at Gulfstream. His other races, other than that lately, have been wins. I think he's going to be awful tough in this race today. I think he kind of just stocks the pace and goes and gets them. So I like number 7, big and classy, in the 6th race today at Gulfstream Park. All right, Papa Dude, we're going to go to the game of the day because it is your best bet. Ohio State and Notre Dame. You're going to go with the Irish. Tell us why.
Well, there's just a lot of reasons for me. Old-time college football fan like me, I know exactly what Notre Dame's doing up there. We're underdogs at home. Mm-hmm. They're playing that up. And I tell you what, how many times have you seen Notre Dame as underdogs come out and play really, really well at home, especially? Personally, I don't think they should be underdogs. I think it should be the other way because I'm leaning towards the quarterback situation. Now, he's getting a ton of hype. I hope he can handle it. He's a mature kid. He's 24 years old. He looks like he's 30, and it's probably because of that beard that he has now. I love the kid, so I'm a little biased on this too. I loved him at Wake Forest. I thought he's a great player. This is his game.
Yep.
And I think this is where he's either going to become a Heisman Trophy candidate or not. So I'm a little worried. Can he handle this? Can he handle it? I think he can. I just think they're better. I think this is what Notre Dame's been needing is a very good quarterback. The other angle is Ohio State is still not proven at quarterback. And as we were talked on our show and you pointed out last year, the Irish hung with them. They just couldn't score. This year they've got a threat. So I'm liking the Irish a bunch. I think this is going to be a great game tonight. And Ohio State's skilled. It's not going to surprise me if they win, but I really like Notre Dame in this situation.
I like it. I like the pick. I lean towards Notre Dame. I didn't have like confidence best bet wise in making Notre Dame the best bet or anything like that, but I did pick them in this game. I'm with you. I just think they're a little bit better, and I think Ohio State, they've had some struggles this season. They've had struggles in bigger games. They did, take care of Notre Dame last year, but Notre Dame hung around and just could not score. I would be shocked if Sam Hartman doesn't have at least a decent day and gets Notre Dame going. I'm going to go the Irish. I know, look, Tony's going to go the Buckeyes. Rob kind of, wavering, wants to pick Notre Dame, leading Ohio State. I get it. Ohio State's one of those teams they're hard to bet against, but the belief that Sam Hartman has got Notre Dame kind of over the top, I think is a good one. So I'm going to go. Go ahead.
Whoever wins this, well, I was going to say it's going to be a great game, but whoever wins this game, I think, if it all plays out like it usually does, they go on and they can lose a game and still make the playoffs. Whoever wins this game can go ahead and lose one down the stretch and still make the playoffs. That's how big this is.
Whoever loses this game, if they win out, will probably still make it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
but the winner of this could afford to lose a game and still make it. That's how big this game is.
Yeah, because the schedules for these two teams, there's still big games left out there for them after this one. But
sure is.
It's a monster one, yeah. And I think the winner is definitely on the road to the playoff, or at least have that opportunity.
Especially Notre Dame.
Yeah, a lot of games to go though. I think Notre Dame needs it more than Ohio State.
I'm going to throw this one out there for you too, Aaron. See what you think about this. BYU is at Kansas today. And KU is a 9.5-point favorite. I think BYU covers that. I don't think Kansas covers that.
I don't. BYU might win.
I do too.
Right.
I don't think Kansas is ready to throttle somebody like that. BYU has great tradition, and they're undefeated. They may have turned the table last week against Arkansas, and their season could be going up because they hadn't been very impressive in the first two games. And I think Kansas, I don't know whether they can beat them or not by that many points.
Yeah, I think BYU wins the game. I really do. I don't fully believe in BYU either. No, BYU is not the favorite, Rob. Kansas is a 9-point favorite.
9.5-point favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tony, here's the deal. It is a weird one for sure. It does kind of seem out of whack.
Mm-hmm. I think Kansas should be favored, but that's a lot of points.
3 is what I would. All the time after the games are over, I kind of go through the next week and I go, what do I think the lines are going to be? And I thought, Kansas will be about a 3-point favorite.
Yeah.
And they're 9. So, yeah, I don't know. It is a very weird. Yeah, they sort of. I mean, that's sort of an SEC team. They're not great. So, I don't know. That's a weird one. That's a weird one to me.
Yeah, me too.
They weren't very good weeks 1 and 2.
No, they were not.
Kansas really was horrible last week.
Bad. Could have been looking ahead.
I think the safest play in the game is over 55.5. The total's 55.5. I think it goes over that.
I think it's going to be a sneaky good game, though. And the OU game's going to be a toughie, I think, for OU.
Well, let's get to that one. Because we're going to end it on this. I'll put the best bets up on the screen here. I'll read you the best bets up here. I'm going to go Gulfstream race 6. I'm going to go number 7, big and classy. Magic's going Toronto, Tampa under 8. And then Papa Dude's going Notre Dame +3. Those are the best bets. We went 1 and 2 like yesterday after going 3-0 on Thursday. You a heartbreaker. The Orioles blow a lead in the 9th and lose. The Orioles blew like 5 leads in that game.
Yeah.
And lost. And then, like I said, my horse ran fine. I mean, just got second, got beat by Broberg. What are you going to do? I wasn't too upset about it. But anyway, still up $200 for the week, $280 for the year. All right, we're going to talk about Oklahoma and Cincinnati. I said yesterday, if Oklahoma wins, I'll go to the Oklahoma Derby. They are on the road today against Cincinnati. Oklahoma, a 13-point favorite. It's coming down. That line's coming down, Papa Dude. What do you think about this game?
Well, I'm scared to death of it because Cincinnati has players. There's no doubt. They got 2 defensive tackles. I think they're tackle man. One of them's maybe a rush end. I don't know, but they're both pro players. Everybody says they may be number 1 draft choices. The quarterback is a dual threat. They were great up at Pittsburgh, but here's the thing: Pitt's not any good. So, and then they lost last week, but they gained over 500 yards in that game, and they were. What did I hear them say? Is they had like 16 snaps inside the 10-yard line and didn't score.
Right. They were in the red zone a ton and
they didn't score. And you got to ask yourself, is it poor play calling? What the heck's happening? Did they get some penalties? Guess I'm trying to play them up. Maybe they may not be good as everybody's trying to say they are, but they should be undefeated. They should have won that game. It's going to be an ambush type situation, I think, at Cincinnati. It's going to be a tough game for OU, a team that I'm a little concerned about their confidence level coming off of last year. Are they going to be cocky enough and be a typical OU team that goes in there and wins? Do they have that swagger anymore? That's what worries me the most about this game.
100%. This is a game they would have lost last year. I mean, They lost at West Virginia. They lost at Texas Tech. They had to fake a field goal to win at Iowa State. And all 3 of those games, the Iowa State game they won. The other 2 games, the games were right there. They
should have won them.
They should have won both of them, and they just really poor play beat them. I mean, they were good enough to win those games.
Yeah,
that's what this is. They're a better team than Cincinnati. They should go win. This is a step, and I know Cincinnati lost to Miami, Ohio last week. It doesn't matter. This is a step for Oklahoma.
It is.
They got to just go win, and I'm on the camp of if they win by 1 point, it's a good win. I don't care if they cover; they just need to win. This is
they got to win. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can talk the talk all you want, and you can say, "Oh, our attitude's better. We have confidence. We're a better team, and all that."
Yep.
Till you go in and do it on the road against a team that has won. Now, that's not the same players. I understand that it's not the same coach, but this is not a shitty team or a shitty program. They've won more games than anybody, as many as anyone in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And you just don't go down that fast.
Well, it's an average team this year. That's what they are. They're not horrible. They're not great. But if you're going to be a top 10, 15 school, you have to just go win the game.
Well, if they're an average team, then you should cover.
Not necessarily. This is college football. It's the first Big 12 game in Cincinnati's history. It's at home. It's Oklahoma coming to Cincinnati. It's not going to happen again for a long time.
Maybe
just
never
win. This is the point. The score means nothing. You just win it. That's it.
Yeah.
Whether it's 30-0 or 30-29, I'm going to feel the exact same way after it. If it's
I just hope they win too. And they went in there, I don't know what's it been, 8, 9, 10 years ago.
Almost got beat.
And I think they had a little bit better. Well, they had swagger then.
Yeah.
That's what worries me the most.
Yeah.
An Oklahoma team that is coming off big years goes in and wins.
Yep.
Because they've got the Oklahoma mystique.
And this is what I told people before the season. Oklahoma has to reprove that they can just go like that, because people before the season just look and go, well, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. That's not the case this year. They have to go show you, okay, we're back to being that team, that school where we're playing Cincinnati, you win the game.
Yeah. I had this as a loss on the preseason whenever I was going through the schedule. They
shouldn't lose. I mean, they shouldn't. And if they do, they're not any better than last year.
You
That's
guys
the way I look at it.
that don't watch OU like we do, the play calling, and I don't like to get on coaches, but it's weird. Mm-hmm. You don't know what the offensive game plan is going to be. It's so strange.
And that's like Rob said, you should pass all over them. if they had the SMU game plan, they didn't even try to throw it. I don't really know
what. I don't know what they're going to come out and do. I don't have a clue.
OU is 3-0 against the spread, but I think Tony's right. They're not going to cover. I don't think OU covers today. And if they do cover, it's a sign to me, unless Cincinnati's just awful. But if Cincinnati plays well, Oklahoma plays well, they cover. It's a sign to me that OU has made a significant step.
I'll agree.
I'm not saying a national championship playoff step, but a significant step back to being what they should be. Right. So
yeah,
we'll see. It's gonna be a fun game today. Kicking off in 30 minutes. Now, tomorrow, programming note, we're going to do the show early. Why? Because we are going to the Oklahoma Derby. I don't care about this. I'm not going to put the pressure on Oklahoma. I'm going to the Oklahoma Derby tomorrow. So we're going to do the show early. We'll do it probably 10 o'clock again. So 10 o'clock again tomorrow. We'll talk about NFL, best bets, all that kind of stuff. And we will talk Oklahoma Derby and give picks for that race tomorrow. All right, today's over, though. Good luck, everybody, if you're playing anything today. It's going to be a fun day. Hopefully we don't have a ton of bad weather ruin everything for us, but up and on the East Coast, hopefully Parks gets that card in. So, all right, guys, thanks, everybody, for watching this one. We really appreciate it. Good luck. Everybody have a good Saturday. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.